Ooh, get that sun out of there. I just came in and I'm a little late because I was out watering my garden and lost track of time. So I'm a little flushed myself, but that's all right. Hey, listen, before we get started on our topic today, I just wanted to remind everybody that I actually have the Cicerone Masterclass available right now. And so this is a self-guided, at your own pace, easy to do kind of class. And it's talking about how we can support our kids as they're getting ready to go to school and while they're in school. So even if your kids have already started, and I know a lot of them have, we can, it's still a huge help. So there's 4 modules, and each module has between 3 and 6 lessons in each one. And we're talking about things like social emotional learning and how to support them in that. And then we also talk about some of the academics and what is going to be expected of our kids as they go through the various primary grades. And so if you have a pre-K kid the year before kindergarten or up through 2nd grade, this is the perfect thing for you. And we talk about literacy, and we talk about math and science and all of the things that your kids are going to be expected to learn. And then you can support them in that, give them that heads up. And the reality is, and I believe this with all my heart, that schools are support to parents, not the other way around. And so if you feel like your child needs a little extra in a subject, then, because they're already doing well, then that's you. You get to do that. And we have resources. There's so many resources out there for parents, whether you want to homeschool or mentor them through a more advanced academic path, or if you have a child that needs a little extra support in a grade. This is going to give you an idea of what they're supposed to be doing during a grade, and then also what can you do to support them if they're just a little bit behind, and how you can make sure that they're learning the things that they need to do. And so I suggest this while we talk about literacy, math, and science. I also suggest that we're learning things about civics, or we're teaching them things about civics and history and all of those other things, even sports and athletics, and about their bodies and how their bodies work and all of that. So I would love for you to go check it out. It's on the website, www.littleheartsacademyusa.com. Well, this week I have gosh, I've been so lucky with my guests. Sorry, a little sweaty still from watering the garden. Anyway, his name is Adam Hart, and he is totally cool. He's witty, he's entertaining, he's fun to listen to. He was really fun to have a conversation with, but he is actually an international speaker. People want him all over, and he has spoken he spoke in various countries outside of the U.S. and all over the U.S. as well. He's also a best-selling author, and what he does is he helps busy parents transform their own quality of life and develop these deeply connected relationships with their kids and their partners. And that's so key. You've heard me talk about how important having a strong, safe, and a happy environment between the couples, your relationship and your marriage, is very important to the well-being of your kids. And so he talks about some of those things, and he just really wants everyone to live the best versions of themselves. And that's what we talk about in this episode. Well, let me see. And so we talked about some of the different addictions that get in the way of developing relationships, and then further deeply developing who we are, who we were meant to be, what our talents are. And we have all of these different addictions that get in the way. And some of them are sugar, right? That's me. Yeah, anyway, social media And in fact, we talk about the fact that it's gotten to the point where if you're a person who isn't addicted to social media at some level, you're the weirdo. Isn't that? So we moved to this little teeny town, Chester, Idaho, last March. We moved here, and there are people who still have their home phone and no cell phone here. And I'm like, how do you how do you do that? And they're like, well, I mean, what if there's an emergency? Oh, they'll find me if they need me. And I'm like, wow, you guys are amazing. But yeah, they're just no tablets, no smartphones, because they're busy out working. They're busy out doing instead of watching other people do. And that's such an important and amazing part of life. And so we really want to um, help our kids see that. You know, when you're watching TV, all of the stars and they're having, and you have this great script and they're doing things. How often do you have a sitcom or an action show where the people are just sitting and playing video games or watching TV or whatever? They may talk about, oh, my video game, whatever, and how they play, but you don't see them doing it. They're actually out living life. And so an addiction to social media does really get in the way. We talked about alcohol and drugs and shopping, right? That can be an addiction. Gambling. There's so many ways that we find addictions. It doesn't have to be drugs. It doesn't have to be alcohol. There's so many other things that we can be addicted to that are going to get in the way of, our happiness and our life and our stress levels. It's just crazy. And so we talked about how, how you can regulate your stress response in your life. And so what are some of the things that you can do? You're going to want to listen to the podcast to get into that, but what are some of the things that you can do to help find ways to regulate that stress response? And we talked about how the basic human, I wrote it down because I wanted to get it, is the basics of human nervous system optimization is all around regulation, regulating ourselves, regulating our environment, even having those strong boundaries for our kids. You hear me talk about this all the time. That boundaries, those fences that keep them in, is what helps them to feel safe. They know what to expect. They know what the boundaries are. And then, because they know these things, they're going to start learning how to regulate themselves because, it's important to let your kids fail. It's important for them to get into trouble once in a while. And then we're going to help them through it. Okay, what went wrong here? And what can we do to fix it? What might we do next time? And we can practice that and we can share that with the other kids and help each other. And so I think that that's something to really think about, how we regulate our responses to something that's happening in our lives just right at that moment. Have we prepared ourselves? Have we prepared our kids, right? And then Adam he gives us several examples of how to get your body into a calm and more regulated state. And it was kind of fun. He talked about barefoot meditation, which I love. As soon as we get some grass, I'm going to do it. But we don't have grass yet. Pretty soon. And how to do some breath work. Now that's available to me, and how to do that breath work. And we talk about all of that. And so it's just really cool that we have those things. And so we have all of his connections in the show notes. And so I'm going to ask you, you remember, we're now on YouTube, we're now on Rumble. And so I would love for you to go there and see Adam and watch how we react with one another. And then share, follow, please follow or subscribe and leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you are thinking and the questions that you have. And so I really do appreciate all that you guys are doing with listening, spreading the word about the podcast, and helping us to move forward. So I actually have a book. So it's actually it's called a compilation book. And so they asked 35 specialists from all around the world on different parenting topics. And the name of the book is The Parents owner's manual. Gosh, it's the Parenting Owner's Manual. It's available on Amazon right now. And so I'd love for you to check that out, especially chapter 3. That's a good one. And my chapter in that book is called, one of my favorite things to talk about, going from unwitting saboteur to strategic hero parent. And so we're talking about that. I also have a really fun announcement to make in that by the end of the year, I'm going to have my first children's picture book that's going to be out. And what a great Christmas present for a grandchild or a child or even a teacher, because I wrote it in a way that it makes sense for a circle time, for early childhood, for kindergarten, first grade, because we know as teachers, you have to be turning the pages often enough so that the kids are interested. So you don't want pages that are too wordy. The pictures have to be engaging, and it can't be too long because it has to be within our circle time. It also is great for a nighttime story because, you know, same thing. The kids want to turn the pages and they want to look at the pictures and they usually don't want it to be, super long. And then even at the end, I have lesson plans for teachers on how to use the book, and I also have some strategies for parents on how they can build vocabulary, because that's really what the book is about. Building vocabulary with our kids and helping them understand that they feel better, they can express themselves more when they have the right words to really talk about their emotions. And it's called Roman is Bigger. So you'll have to check it out. And my illustrator is amazing, and it's just magical that we connected with each other and found each other. But she is actually living in Poland, and she is a Ukrainian refugee from the war that's living in Poland. And so this is helping her, build a life for herself and to move forward. And so it's just a win-win all around. So be looking for that. That's going to be coming. In the meantime, go ahead and get the Parenting Owner's Manual, and it's on Amazon. And I'd love for you to let me know what you think about it. Go ahead and get on our Facebook page right here and tell me what you think. So next week, I have Dr. Piper Gibson, and she is talking about kids who have those twitches and tics. And, you think Tourette's. That's what I thought. I have a brother that has Tourette's. That was the first thing I thought of with tics and twitches. But there's so many other reasons that kids get tics and twitches. And she went through it with her own child. And so that's what we're talking about next week. And so until next Tuesday, and I will be here. The last 2 weeks I was on vacation in Mexico with my son and his family. But I will be here next week at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. And until then, let's find joy in parenting. Bye, guys.